Just when you think they're about to break apart, ducks fly together!
And when the wind blows hard and the sky is black,
Ducks fly together!
And when everyone says it can't be done, ducks fly together.
We are Vikings!
Back in the place.
Hello.
Hello.
Here, you kind of match your outfit. You got the dark hair, then you get the light bits.
Of course I do.
Like the light bits. Yeah.
It's my colour palette.
What
What are you trying to do?
Light bits. Dark bits.
It's my colour palette. Everything I own is autumnal colours. And I love a pumpkin spice latte.
Autumnal.
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 Okay. How do?
Wow.
Yeah, how do we start? Hi.
Hello again.
Hello again.
It's been a hot minute. It's because we've been very busy.
And also, to get upstairs is quite difficult because we do now have a new member of Team Chunk.
Mm-hmm.
Baby Chunk.
Baby Chunk. Oh, we need to get her own little thing. You know
Yeah.
how we've got our patches, we need to find a way of getting her a patch.
Tattoo.
We are not tattooing the dog.
I know, I don't want a tattoo because I'm afraid of needles. That's why I do natural bodybuilding.
I like tattoos. I'll get another one probably.
You get one for me. Can I pick what it is?
Yeah?
Thanks. Okay, that's recorded. That's proof I get to pick what tattoo she gets.
As long as it ain't your face all the way up my thigh.
No, it'll be lovely.
Okay.
Yeah. Class. Anyway. So, we haven't done one of these in months, really.
No.
There's been a lot of show things, all that sort of stuff. So if anyone's watched them, they know we did shows because we're not just chatters, we actually do things too. But yeah, we'll start off then in June. Probably makes most sense.
Sure.
So there was BNBF NI qualifier at Theatre at the Mill up in Newton Abbey in Northern Ireland, hence the NI. I competed in that. There was quite a small field. I think I was the tallest there.
Probably.
So yeah, you get that
Very nice.
height reference. But yeah, so I went and showed up. I was like, oh, okay. Turned out I was competing against a middleweight and a lightweight. I'm not sure. But I got this one because of that. Because I came first. Then I also got this one because my condition was quite good. So you could see my legs and there's best wheels. And then it went to the overall. So that was competing against, I have to say it, the juniors were exceptional.
Yeah.
Like, if I was in the junior category, I would have been a little bit worried. Novices were great as well. Everyone, to be fair. Like, it was a small amount of people, which is the case in Northern Ireland, generally. However, it was really good. Everyone was really good. And that was why I was like, oh, this is good. So, coming to the overall, I was a little bit sort of like, oh, okay. There's someone who can definitely take me on size. And when we got the feedback, it turns out it was quite close. However, if you don't already know, I got this. Also, I'll let you know, they have names.
Oh yes.
Can you hold him?
I can.
And I'll take him. And I'll take him. So, as you know, we are Team Chunk. That came about as chunks fly together because ducks fly together. So there's appropriate names for each of these.
Which is a reference to make that make sense,
The Mighty Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks, the Disney film.
So if anyone knows The Mighty Ducks, you will understand these. If you do not, watch it. It's great.
Yes.
Watch them all. And anyway, so we've got Goldberg, the goalkeeper. We've got Conway, the captain. And then we have
Emilio Estevez.
the coach. That's his actual name, not his character name, because it's great. So that's Emilio. And anyway, that's that. So I've got my British final invite down there as well. And it'll go down. There we go. And yeah.
I'll take Emilio.
Then we had the focus off me onto Lil Chunk.
Which in itself was an experience. Because then I was suddenly very aware that it was all geared at me now. And everything I'd watched him do, I was then having to do. So we applied for and got him a coach pass. Because there was absolutely no way I was going into that on my own. And as you'll see if you've already seen the show videos, it's a really good job because I was fit for nothing. So obviously with a lot of flight bits and pieces going on, we were flying over to England because the show was for WNBF UK. It was happening over in Surrey in Camberley at the Camberley Theatre. So we had to fly, obviously. So that in itself brought its own little bit of stress on the Friday. But coach suggested we fly on the Friday, so we've got Saturday there in the hotel, and then show day was obviously on the Sunday. So was it 3 weeks between your show and mine?
3 weeks to the day, yeah.
So obviously I just carried on dieting and training, and with a few adaptations, like my training came down. Reason being, you've not been building muscle for ages, you've just been trying to keep what's there.
Also within that, the energy you've got, it's minuscule. And on top of that, the training that you would previously do, so for example, you were in training legs today and you were on a leg press. Leg press you could do, but you can't load it the same because even though your muscle's there, there's nothing around it to support it.
No. Not at all. And even I said to you, didn't I was doing rear delt flies one day with like teeny tiny weights, and I was like, my shoulders feel fizzy. He's like, what do you mean? And I was like, in this little bit here, they're like fizzy. And he was like, yes, because there's nothing there anymore. There's just the muscle. You've got nothing to help it or protect it or do anything. I was like, oh, fabulous. So that carried on, dieting carried on. Weight kept going down, which was great. Now 12 weeks prior to that show, he'd set a goal weight that he thought I could go into carb load at, I suppose? Or?
No, so essentially I looked at where we were and I knew in my head where we needed to be competitive. And I then... I kind of told you that anyway. I then went, okay, let's ballpark it a little bit lower. Because if you set your sights higher and you fall a little bit short, that could be where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that was in that sense. So I set a goal weight of 54 kilo. What was your starting weight at this prep?
78 kilo. 78.6 kilo, I think.
There we go. So I set, and I think you were probably sitting at about 66 or so then. Maybe a bit higher.
Probably.
Yeah, so I set that and was like, we're aiming for that. And then, what was it? It was the Thursday morning before we started carb loading. What were you?
54.2.
Good call, wasn't it? So, with that in mind, the carb load as well, we took slightly differently because she was working the Thursday and the Friday. And then the Saturday just sort of got loads in the morning. But you can see that in the video, so there's no point in talking about that now. This is just really a catch-up.
Mm-hmm.
But then we travelled over, great, got there, hotel was sweet, really handy. And the show, I just have to say, was fantastically run. Like, it was brilliant. It was a great experience for me as a coach, being on that side. And actually having the opportunity to get backstage, all that sort of stuff, it was great. How'd it go?
It went pretty good. I did 2 categories. My head probably needed testing, but I competed in 2 different categories if you've not already seen. The figure category as a novice and the fit body category as a first timer. because they were kind enough to allow people to enter cross category. So the whole point of the show was first timers and novices. So for a lot of people, it was finding their feet and where they go in this sport that a lot of them have never done before. So obviously I was really hoping after all the hard work that maybe I'd come out with a medal, hopefully. And so the first time a fit body category was the first one. And it went pretty good because I came third and I got a medal. Me got a medal in bodybuilding. If you told me that a year ago, I'd have probably laughed in your face while I was eating a donut, while he was prepping.
Because I was buying her the donuts.
Yeah. Not been able to do that this year. That's probably a conversation for another video. That's been tough. So yes, I came third. It was a category of 4. But I managed to place, and that got me an invite to the Supernaturals event in October as well, which was grand. So yeah, then the novice figure category went on, and there was 9 in that category, and because it was a novice category, there was a lot of girls who maybe have competed before, have competed for a few years as bikini athletes, and then wanted to try something different. Again, that was the point of the show. So there was the standard of the whole show was incredible as well. Like, there was 156 competitors total across every division, men and women. The standard was great. The juniors and teens again were great, weren't they? It really was phenomenal. So some of the novice figure girls, some of them have been competing for sort of 4 years in other divisions and other shows and stuff. So there was experience on stage next to me, but I was like, it's okay, I'm gonna go. Again, it would have been nice to get somewhere. And I did! I got another medal! I got 2 medals in a bodybuilding show! So I came third in novice figure. You can sit down there. Third in novice figure as well. And what was really good is once the judges' score sheets came out, I was actually 1 point off second as well in both classes, which is obviously huge. And the girls that did place above me, they absolutely deserved it. They were, like, we could absolutely see why. But that was really nice to know as well, that it was that close, which does mean in the way the scoring works, more than one judge had me down in second place, which with the quality of the judges as well is just such a big compliment when, you know, I came into this whole process just wanting to have a different relationship with food and lose a bit of weight and kind of get the body I always wanted to have but never had a reason to work that hard for it. I'm a very goal-driven person, so having a show or something to work towards is really helpful, and having another reason that isn't just, I want to lose a bit of weight for my holiday, which is usually everyone's reason, and quite often I think that's probably why people stop. But I couldn't stop. And after this, as this went so well, and I had such a good day, it really, really was a good day. It was a great time. It was a lot, but it was a really, really good time. I'm going to be doing it again. So next on the cards in 8 weeks is going to be NBFI, which is a show in the south of Ireland, the Natural Bodybuilding Federation of Ireland. So I'll be heading down to compete in the figure division for that.
I'll be 1 second. I did that show last year. I got this. So we need to improve on this, both of us, really. Yeah. So yeah, I'm also going to be competing there as well, and I will also be being a bit of a madman. I'm going to do a show the week before as well. WNBF, wait, I'll take this one off. UK, nah. WNBF Ireland, and that'll be in New Ross in County Wexford, I think. So that'll be the week before. So my body will be ready to give up at the... Will I reach the age of 31?
I hope so.
So do I, because my birthday is actually 2 days after the NBFI show, so last year I set the goal of winning a medal. By the time I'm 30, I did it, we were flying. So now I have set a different goal at the start of the year, and we will discuss that in October to see how close I was to getting it.
Absolutely.
But I will actually be, unless I am to qualify for Worlds, something like that, some big mad show and someone's going to pay for it, I will be calling an end to my season after NBFI, because it's been a very long prep. We've been dieting, albeit there was a holiday in between, we've been dieting since February. So when you think about it, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 7 full months of dieting is not going to be good for you.
No.
So what I'm going to be doing is, after that, going into a bit of a recovery, reverse diet, and then taking a full season out of competing and just get massive. No, grow considerably and enjoy my training, enjoy life, go on holidays, go out for dinner, go, you know, do fun things and help other people achieve as well.
Yeah.
And yeah, so if, speaking of that, like, if you're competing next year and you need a coach, you got me.
And I can't recommend him highly enough, because honestly, as his first season as a coach, he's got one of his athletes 2 medals, an athlete that never thought she was capable of that, and I'm going to cry, who never thought she'd be capable of anything like that. And all day at WNBF UK, all he did was run around every hour. He'd go, okay, come down, let's look at you. I'd come down, okay, now put this into you, go back up, lay down, put your feet up, try and have a sleep, do this, do that. Like, I literally didn't need to think about a thing. And this whole prep, like, I've been dieting since mid-January. The whole time I've not had to worry about anything, because I've known that I've got someone in my corner, on my team, I love you, on my team, knowing everything there is to know about what it is we're doing, and understands the science and understands why things have to be the way they are, and understands training to such a degree that it all did what it was supposed to, and everything that could have gone right on that day went right because of this man.
I want to cut you off there. As much as you can understand the science, understand the training, understand the diet, you need to understand people, you need to listen to people.
Yeah.
And that's what takes the difference from a programmer and a coach. Like, my coach this year has been so helpful to me. I openly said, Ross, team pro coach, he is a gem. He's from the south, he's got a funny accent, but he's lovely. No, he's been an absolute gem. Like, if I'm having bad days, he'll talk me through it. If I need help, he'll help me. If I'm struggling, he can tell I'm struggling. And that's what makes a good coach. You need to listen to your clients and support them. So if someone is having a bad day, someone can't adhere to their diet, they're getting dietary fatigue, which happened to both of us a good bit.
Yeah.
But that's why you've got the use of refeeds, things like that. It's not just suck it up and keep going, because that's what I did. Because you know what? Not everyone is the same. Everyone is different. That's why you've got personal training. Coaches should be personable as well. Be able to be approachable and just support their athletes 100%.
And that's what's made your job even harder as my coach this year, because when you see your athlete struggling, you want to be able to help within, obviously, the parameters of what you're trying to do. When you see your girlfriend, boyfriend, wife, whoever struggling, and they are crying and they are exhausted, you want to help within the parameters of what you're doing. However, you're also seeing that person you care about in pain, and that's not nice either. So both of us, to a degree, have obviously had to put up with the other one struggling.
Oh yeah.
But as a coach, that's an incredibly hard position to be in. So to get to where we got as well I think makes what you did and what we did even more admirable, because we also never gave in to that, oh, I love you, so here's a biscuit. We never did that.
There was that time where it wasn't a biscuit, it was like, right, get a refeed. What do you want? Do you want pizza?
Yeah.
Do you want this? And then, I'll tell them, you cried.
Yeah, I did.
Because you were like, no, but I do, but I don't. And then we learned that she really likes soda breads, like little mini soda breads. They're called the wee sodas. But if you haven't had soda bread, get yourself some soda bread. And anything else?
On that?
In general? I think that's...
I just think, what did we learn? Like, is there anything... I know I've learned some interesting things. I've learned Showtown apparently doesn't come off, still after 2 weeks. So, I think it was Magic Tan. It's great. Or I prep my skin too well.
Black Magic.
Black Magic?
I think
I'm
so.
not sure.
Yeah.
Whatever
Possibly.
it is, I'll put it down here. I learned that I'm capable of a hell of a lot more than I thought. I learned that we make a great team when it counts. We are on all of the time. And I'm sure I'll think of some other obscure things. I feel like there's a lot. And I've seen the side that people don't tell you about this. And anyone watching this, anyone thinking of competing, anyone just watching it because they're interested, no, it's not a healthy thing to do to your body when you're a few weeks out of the show. Your body is in a weird place. That's why people don't do this all the time. Does that make sense? That'd be right?
Yes. So that's why, for example, I'm taking a full year out, because my body now, if I was to compete next year, I wouldn't be able to put on any muscle, because I will be coming out of the show in October, and I'll take 2 to 3 months to actually get my body back in check, my hormones up to a level that they should be at.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I was to compete next year, I would then have 2 months before I start dieting again. And it is, you need to look at your sort of health side, and also the ability to grow as well. But for me, the main thing, how I've been describing prep, it's a pilgrimage, a non-religious pilgrimage, because people will go up Croagh Patrick, things like that, which is one of the walks they do here. But they'll do something like that. They'll go to Medjugorje, they go to Lourdes, just to find out things about themselves. They do one of the Buddhist things, whatever. I'm just going for the religion that I know. But you find out things about yourself when you go through that suffering.
Mm-hmm.
It's exactly the same. You can be the lowest of low, but then the next day you can have the highest of highs. You can have such brain fog one day, but then it can be crystal clear the next day. And it's so interesting, because, like you said, you don't know what you can do until you do it.
Yeah.
And when you're that close, everything's telling you to give up. But the amount of work you've done, you have to just push that a little bit harder. And that makes the difference between those who can and those who can't. And if you've got to do something, you do it and you see it through.
Mm-hmm. I was astonished because my posing coach said to me, the week before your peak week, so 2 weeks out of your show, is when like 80% of people who've been prepping for months will give up. The beginning of peak week, another good percentage will give up. Most people give up at the last hurdle. And as Stephen said, you've done that much work, what's the point? I've just done 24 weeks of prep. So 9 weeks from when I decided that we were going to go for NBFI kind of feels like nothing. Still not easy. I've spent the last 3 hours craving a donut. Because that's me. So it's not like it gets any easier, but 9 weeks feels like nothing in comparison to 24 weeks of dieting and training and every second thinking about it. And it has to be your life. That's the other big thing I've learned. it kind of has to be your life. It's not something you can just be like, oh yeah, I'll do a show. Because it is, if it is your driving force, like you just think about it all the time, which yes can be to a degree probably unhealthy, but I think that's also what separates the people that give up from the people that don't. And it has to be your life, and you have to just commit to it 120%. Yeah. I felt like that was going somewhere.
Both feet in. Like, I have this sort of attitude, if you're doing anything, go 2 feet in. There's no point in having 1 foot on the shore, 1 foot in the water, because you're not going to experience either fully. So if you get fully in, fully submerged, what have you got to do? Swim. Otherwise you'll drown. And no one wants to drown.
No. And I will say it is one of the best decisions I ever made, because not only have I set out the things I set out, the reasons to do it, have I achieved those. I've achieved more than I ever thought I could. And this is going to sound really sappy. And I have said this to you before, but... You've
got more space in the wardrobe now?
I've got more space in the wardrobe, but I've got a whole new wardrobe. It's great. But I was going through quite a difficult time. Kind of COVID knocked everyone sideways. It was bad, and I very much felt like I'd lost myself and kind of who I was. If you noticed changes in me, like I just wasn't myself anymore, and I felt really, really lost. And this has, I'm gonna cry again. This has given me my me back, and I genuinely finally feel like myself again for the first time in a very long time. And that's not about the weight, it's not about my body, it's not about anything like that. It's like my mind took itself, like you said, to such a suffering place, and you have to sometimes hit some sort of rock bottom before you come out again. Was it like a butterfly, where like you go in a little caterpillar and then you go in a little cocoon and then you stay in there and it's dark and horrible, but then once you come out of your cocoon you're this big beautiful butterfly, and I feel like a butterfly again. And it's, you know, I've achieved something and I've done something, and it was so worth it. All the ups, all the downs, everything was so worth it, and that's why I want to do it again, because it was great fun. But that's the other side of this. It's not all about the health and fitness side. It very much is just about your mental health and you as a person, I think. And as Stephen said, you learn a lot about yourself, and you learn how to handle things that you probably never thought you could. Yeah, I think that's a really important thing to say, because it is the best decision I ever made. Apart from moving to Northern Ireland to be with Stephen, obviously.
To be starved maybe as well.
Yeah.
You eat this, you eat that. But also, we'll just let you know, on the subject of starving, she's actually on the most calories she's been on. Like, even she's dieted yourself and all that, and your calories, what, 1,700 at the moment on training day? 8 weeks out from a show, and
it's great.
Weight'll drop this week as well, so it's flying. We're having the best time.
So thank you for coming along, suffering my mood swings. You can still see my hormones are clearly not quite in check. But no, genuinely thank you for everyone that watches these, and if you're still watching, this will probably be a long one. Thank you so much.
Fair play.
Fair play. And we love that you're just as interested in it as we are. And that's all we ever wanted to do, was just spread the word and the love and everything. And you know, if you're competing, reach out, say hi. Let's build a community, because that's what it's all about.
And speaking of community, I will be doing a video, and I'll be talking about natural bodybuilding and the community side to it. So after you've watched this, who knows, it could be up the day after, it could be up 2 days after, it'll be up this week. So have a wee look at that as well, and hopefully you enjoyed this. Like, subscribe, share it with your mates, share it with your ma, share it with everyone.
Your ma, not your dad.
No, because your mommy will share it to your aunties, who'll then share it to their mates, who'll share it to the people, like, I'm just going to do the English thing, people in the WI or here, wherever they do, like, wherever they go, all like for tea. So it'll spread around them all so fast.
That's it. That's what we want.
But yeah, have a great week, and until next time.
Which will be sooner, we promise.